Hello, Adam. That was a little too full. Let's see here. Hey, Adam. Helios, why are you licking your paws? He's crazy, that one. Okay, let's see here. It says it has a slow connection, so I'm going to try something real quick. There we go. Let's see. There we go. Okay. See if that changes things a little bit. All right.
Yo,
Hey, dude. How
what's
you
going
doing?
on? Good, how are you?
Yeah, just, winding down for an evening.
Yeah. I'm so used to you being late that it's odd when it's early.
No, I'm not falling for it. That was,
Oh,
that was cute, though. That was very cute. I'm
yeah.
so glad
Hey,
you're here.
And real quick, why the other two were waiting for them? Shout out, both of us wearing shirts, different shirts, always repping different brands every week. I like your pull up or shut up shirt. I actually got the Bad Bully Club. Um, the MC in Dallas or in Texas, Rodney Bull, his
Oh,
clothing
cool.
brand. So yeah, he's actually up for MC of the year. We actually got these from him. I see your pull up or shut up shirt. And
Yeah.
yeah, anyone that's watching, hey, if you want us to rep your brands, we don't mind at all. Hey, we don't. I'll pay for the shirt. Like, just tell me, your
Right. Just bring
brands.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'll send you over the info, like the address to ship it to, and we'll wear it. This is a good platform for people to see kind of your brands. It's nice. We've been averaging 1,200 to 1,500, people watching in between shows. So it's a very good mark. I'm very proud of where this lab's at and where it's going. And so if you want your brand repped, hey, get with us. We would love to rep it. Every Tuesday night. We've been doing this for almost 3 years. Almost 3 whole years.
Feels like indentured
Every
servitude
single
if you're doing
Tuesday. Yeah, like it's really become a staple of the community. It's nice. It's humbling.
it.
It's fun.
Definitely.
I enjoy it. I enjoy people viewing in. And if people didn't watch Raul Fagundes live last night on QBN,
Oh,
very, very,
yeah.
very informative, very good live.
Yeah,
Tune in. He
definitely
does
go
them
back.
every Monday and every Friday. I think he starts at 7 Central Time.
I
But
thought it was 8 Central.
is it 8 or no? You're right. You're
Yeah,
right. It is
at
8.
least
It's the same
that's,
time.
yeah. I think it
It's the
was
same
8.
time. Thank you for correcting me because I would have said that incorrectly. But yeah, same time. So 8 Central Time.
Yeah, and definitely, guys. Hey, Aaron, if you're watching, it's not letting me add you. You might need to hop out, hop back in. I tried to add you, but yeah, no, that
Yeah, Adam
the great
confirmed 8
thing
Central Time.
about his content is like especially this most recent one because it's something that we all deal with, especially with these larger dogs. These heavier built dogs. So bloat is a very serious thing, and there are ways to better prevent your dog from getting it. Because once they have it, the likelihood of them surviving is near zero. So obviously, having someone dedicate time to educating people on preventative measures that can be taken is pretty damn cool. So if you missed it last night, definitely go back and watch it. He does have a YouTube as well as the videos that were posted from last night on his
Mm-hmm.
actual Facebook profile.
Yeah.
Definitely go back and watch that. It's 7 on
Yeah.
Caleb's
No, thank you,
Wi-Fi.
Adam.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm
Wow.
not engaging.
He's
I'm not engaging in the childish behavior tonight. I've come to talk dog. So no, I'm joking.
bad. It's so bad.
Oh, I love you, Adam. Aaron, what's
Oh,
going on, man?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, another
hey,
beautiful day,
hey.
man.
I can't see you guys. I don't know what's
Oh,
up with that.
it's a weird thing happening right now where it's some I don't know if it's a phone thing or an app thing, but Facebook you can, if you look at it on your computer, which I have my laptop underneath the phone right now, I can see everything on here, and everybody else can see all three of us right now, but I can't see you two, and
That's
you
weird.
can't see us two. It's so
It's been
strange. I don't know.
it's been doing that on Instagram too. It just must be a
Has
meta
it?
thing.
Yay for Meta.
Yeah.
Ugh,
What's going
Yeah,
on, guys?
man. Glad
nothing
to have
much.
you, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
look,
feel
I'm
this has
reading.
been a long time coming. I think I finally was able to find a little nook in your schedule. So I'm very, very proud of it.
Yeah. I think the first time or the only time you asked me rather was it's going on 3 months ago, and I just
Yeah,
have
that's
not had the time. It's so difficult.
yeah.
We have 2 small children, and they just
Yeah.
keep us so busy.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And I know that like there's been other times where I think you've been like you were like watching the show, and I was just like, I know I kind of hop in the comments and was like, hey, you should be on here too, or someone actually also recommended you for it as well, which I think might have been Cody. So it's just one of those things where it's just like, yeah, we've been definitely wanting to petition you. So thank you very much for sitting down and talking dogs with us for sure.
I'm glad to
Yeah.
be here, and I appreciate the kind words. It's something I've not got to do much of, but I used to love going live. I used to do pretty often live interviews and questions and stuff with people on Instagram, and nothing to this capacity, but that was always just something I really enjoyed about this, is picking people's brains about, why did they get into it? Where do they see
Yeah.
the breed going? Those types of things. And so, be on the other end of that's pretty cool.
100%.
Oh yeah, so it's good to have you back in front of a camera. So we definitely appreciate you for that. Let me see if I can get Michael on here. All right. If anybody,
Hey, Aaron, I like that. I like that you just now. I like that written a lot. That's spot on readings and a very awesome phenotype that you're doing on both sides. Nicely paired.
I appreciate that. It really kind of fell in my lap, to be honest with you. I mean, not to say that it
I
Oh, yeah, I lost him.
think we lost the sound.
Yeah. Well, I lost him visually too. So yeah,
Oh,
I think
there he
it's just
went.
me.
Yep,
It's
you
just
sure
me and
did.
you.
And
Me, you,
and your
Kyle.
co-host right there.
My dog. Yeah.
Is that
Hey,
your
so
is that your producer?
oh, I'm definitely a producer. Yeah. Check this out. This girl is beautiful. 9 years old, straight A's, killing it in football, killing it in basketball, killing it in. She's gonna be playing baseball soon. Love you, girl. Proud of you.
She's doing a heck of a job. That's,
Yeah.
man, every single time you post another something with her just killing it, I mean,
Photography,
yeah.
drop my
animals.
phone.
Yeah. Watching her walk around with a camera at a dog show and like getting shots, like it's,
Yeah.
it's the angles too. It's amazing. It's very
Yeah, she
impressive.
really does. Michael, what's going on?
Well, hello.
Aaron, you're back. Perfect. Now we can
Hello.
roll. Now we can roll.
Can you
No
guys
more
not be
social
lippy and talk
distancing.
to each other for just a minute?
Michael, you are one beautiful man.
Kyle, I was just thinking the same thing about you, bud.
Hey, y'all killed it last
I would
night's
love to
live,
say the
man.
same thing, but I can't see you guys.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Well, we can see you, bud, and you're looking great.
I appreciate it. I'm sweaty.
I'm
I don't know where
sweaty.
you guys are all located, but it's 100 degrees in Arkansas right now.
I'm in Arkansas.
You're in
Yeah.
Arkansas?
Wow, I
Oh,
didn't know you were.
I believe I've met you before.
Yeah,
Okay, the name's ringing a bell, even though I can't see your face.
yeah. Were you at JJ's show in Conway?
I saw you at Hot Springs, and I saw you at the fun show down there in Clarksville that the Frenchie feller
Yeah,
puts on.
Matt's show
Yep.
at Hillcrest. Yeah,
But yeah, no, I wasn't at the Conway show this year.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So
It was all right. I had a good time.
I had some friends that went. A couple of local guys, Brandon Bailey and Jacob Deal.
Where are you at in Arkansas?
I'm in Jonesboro. I'm up in the northeast corner, about an hour from Memphis.
Yeah, yeah. A-State.
That's right. Go Wolves.
I got a daughter in A-State right now.
Right on.
Yeah.
What's she studying?
I think she's just changed. I have to ask my wife and see what she just changed to.
Yep.
All the kids have had scholarship. I think
Oh.
what is it now, baby? An optometrist?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She can
I've
be
got
an
a 19-year-old niece that's going to school up there. She's trying to get into the new veterinary program,
Heck
and
yeah.
I'm telling her that's the way to go. And then you're
Yeah.
gonna have to hook me up for life.
Yeah.
She wants to
There'll
be an
always
eye
be a need
doctor.
for it too.
She was doing dermatology, and now she's doing optometry.
Yeah.
Hey,
School's really
listen,
growing.
that's a lot. It's a lot of work, and that is a hard major. So I'm very impressed.
I got one daughter that is a speech pathologist, so she's the mouth and the throat, and another one that's the eyes and was the skin. So I don't know
Yeah,
what we got going on, but
you're
we
gonna be
got it
covered
covered. I
though.
can tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
you'll be pretty well covered.
Are you
Yeah,
gonna
we're
be at the
Um,
Clarksville show this year?
Yeah, I'm going to be at Clarksville. We're also going to make it to that big one that's coming up down there at Dallas in October, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
The ABKC show in Dallas, October 11th.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
awesome,
Heck yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
my wife said October 11th is the next.
October.
Oh, so both of those shows are October 11th. Well,
I
Yeah.
then we
see.
probably won't be at Clarksville then.
I seen that. I had somebody invite me to both. But
Yeah.
Oh,
My
no.
wife's hosting a show October 11th too in Andalusia, Alabama.
Yeah.
So October 11th's
So
loaded
wait,
with
October
shows.
11th.
Loaded
Yeah.
with shows.
Well, I really enjoy that Frenchy Fun show that Hillcrest puts on. It's a really good time, good
it
food,
is.
good atmosphere. It's a great facility. It's the Clarksville Community Center. It's air
Yeah.
conditioned, and I mean, the guy's really putting on a good event. I hate to
Yeah.
miss it, but I
Yeah, they're
definitely want to
great.
go out to Dallas this year.
Well, I don't blame you there. I can tell you this. I would like to go to all three of those shows. If I go to any of them, I'll be at Nakaya's show. That's a fact. Um,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that being said,
Hey,
I
that's
would really enjoy going to any of one of those events. They look going to be some great shows, and
that's
I think Matt and his wife do throw a great show up there in
true.
Clarksville. We've had a ton of fun going up there, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
Jonesboro. We need to meet and greet down here. So Arkansas's got some folks, man. We got some people up here.
yeah.
We
Do
do.
we absolutely do.
The XL scene is really beginning to thrive in Arkansas. That's what I breed, so obviously that's my go-to as far as what I kind of keep an eye on. But there are so many people really doing it big here now that just a few years ago, when I started, I got into these dogs in 2019, and there were like 6 XL breeders in the whole state, and there are like 6 in Jonesboro now. And
Nice.
Batesville's, there's White River Monster Bullies, Daniel Winston and them down there at Batesville. Phenomenal
Yeah.
program.
Kelly and Daniel Winston are great people too.
Yeah. Yes, they
Yeah, they
are.
are.
I showed a few of their dogs at this show in Conway this year. Just she asked me if I'd get in the ring with them, and I got in the ring with Diesel, his first time in the ring. That boy's a hoss.
He is.
Yeah, he is, and they're
Sounds like
just
a
the
big.
greatest people, sweet people, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. They're fantastic. I love their son too. Their son is a killer little dude. I say little.
He
He's
is.
like a grown man now, but he's an awesome kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a great attitude, man. I really like him. Nice. He's a lot like his daddy. He's real reserved and humble and but still a shining light too, man. Great people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. The first time, not the first time Daniel ever came to my house, but like the second or third time Daniel ever came to my house, he broke bread and brought a jar of moonshine, and we've been friends ever since.
That's how
So
you
The fact that
Brothers
you
for life.
remember that.
well, good. I know when we get together, I know to bring the moonshine. So
that's right.
Don't bring hot sauce. Don't bring hot sauce.
my wife said their daughter too. She is stepping out, starting a show. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did some work with her and gave her some pointers and stuff, and kind of I was really impressed with how attentive she was to detail and instruction. She was really, you could tell she was hungry for it, man. Really wanting to learn, and that's what I love to see when those kids, they'd be in mid sentence. You start to tell them something about showing, and they're just
Yeah.
hush mouth, straight focus. That's
Students. Hungry.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
She's
man.
like that for sure, man. So
Well, and
what's
they brought her up and done some breedings and stuff before. Like I did a couple AIs for them a few years ago with Jackpot and one of their girls, and little girl's no older than 7 or 8 years old. She didn't shy away. She didn't turn away. She didn't ask a bunch of questions. She observed, and
Yeah.
she definitely is about the breeding thing too. Not grossed out or weirded out by it. So she's gonna be definitely a breeding girl when she grows up for sure.
you really said a lot right then that I want to kind of talk about here. So that what you said really, it was just a short little sentence, but it meant so much because there's so many different types of people in this community, and it takes a trained eye to see the difference. You know, like my daughter, for example, she won't even be in the same room if any of that is going on. You can't make her look at it. She don't want to see it. She don't want no part of it. She don't want to hold nothing, watch nothing, learn about nothing. She's not interested in any of that. It's icky to her,
Yeah.
all of it. But some kids are, you know, interested in how that works and how to get it done. And it's just, it fascinates me just how these little people can be all so different, man, and have different fortes and attributes and stuff. But
Yeah.
Well,
just in you saying that, I can tell that that you pay attention to that kind of thing.
yeah. My little 2-year-old, she loves the dogs, but she wants nothing to do with cleaning up puppy poop or pee or
Puppies
anything
are
like
too
that.
afraid to clean up after them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
Yeah,
make
but
sense, but now I'm kind of with her in that regard. That was always obviously the least favorite part of everything. And some people have strong stomachs and some people don't. Man. But so we totally skipped the intro, and while I'm sure that our viewers
Yeah.
thus far are probably pretty familiar with you, or you know, obviously they read the event post, so they know your name at minimum. But we'd like to give you the opportunity to talk about well, to introduce yourself first and foremost to everybody, and then your kennel name, and then how you got into bullies in the first place.
so my name is Aaron Pipes. I am 31 years old as of about a week and a half ago. I'm in Jonesboro, Arkansas. We breed XL for American Bullies. And as far as how we got into it, that's a pretty interesting story. But right out of high school, I was really into powerlifting and bodybuilding. And there was a guy that I worked out with who he was a personal trainer at the local 10 Fitness, which is just like a fitness club. And I was in there working out with him one day. He's like, "Hey, man, I just put in my 2-week notice. I'm getting ready to open a gym." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool. It's pretty ambitious. You know, what's your plan?" He was like, "Well, I have a camper. I sold my house, and I'm going to live in the camper with my dogs. And I bought this warehouse, and I'm going to just slowly but surely turn this thing into a warehouse gym over the next year." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, cool."
Wow.
So then about 2 weeks later, he calls me and he says, "I really need some help going up to Missouri to get some gym equipment from a college that's selling off their old weight room." And I said, "Okay, I'll come with you." And we get to the gym after picking up this equipment up in Cape Girardeau, and he opens the camper door, and out step these just two crazy looking dogs. I've never seen anything like it. I was like, "What are those?" Mind you, this is back in 2012,
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
and I'm 18 years old. I'm like, "Those are the most terrifying looking pit bulls I've ever seen. Please get those things away from me." And he's like, "No, man, they're super sweet. Check it out." And he calls them over, and one's name is Titus, and the other one's name is Bella. And Titus was a Razor's Edge Heartbreaker son,
Ooh.
some of that old school Edge stuff. And Bella was a little Gotti line, Dax line, pocket, borderline exotic thing. And I was like, "Man, these dogs are awesome." And so I started hanging out with them, and I ended up working with him for about 6 months getting that gym ready. I just fell in love with his dogs.
Yeah.
You know, I started watching them for him here and there and hanging out with them. And he kind of told me about how when he was around my age, he had actually flown out to California and bought a couple of the bigger version of this dog from Seoul at RBG. But he told
Yes.
me, you know, life happens. He got in trouble for a little bit. He moved into a smaller house, and couldn't have all the big dogs. So he scaled back and he got some of the smaller stuff. And that kind of set me on the path of looking at, okay, well, these dogs are insane. I've never seen anything like this. And my point, what could be bigger, right? And so that was kind of my introduction to the breed itself. And it wasn't until 2018 that I bought my first two dogs. 2017, I bought my first two dogs, and it's just been going ever since. Now I can't stop buying dogs and breeding
That
dogs. So
I love it. I love it. I love hearing startup stories, and I love because it's always that like, man, if this didn't take place, I would never have fallen in love with this breed, and this journey would have never started. They came out of this camper, and you're just like, damn.
yeah, what
And
are
now,
those?
yeah.
It's
And now
that.
look, 2017, you bought your first dog. So obviously 2025, we are now. So 8, 9 years of this journey that you've been on because of the love that you fell in love with, like during that period of time where you were spending time with them. So 2018, what was the foundation that started your program? Let's get to your program now.
Well, so I started my program out with a couple of dogs that didn't end up making it actually into the program.
Okay.
I bought a blue female from a local guy here she was a big girl, and her mom was a really big girl, probably about 115, 120 pound female, but it was all Dachshund and Miyagi blood.
Wow.
How the size came into that
Yeah,
pedigree,
that's what I
I'll
was gonna
never
say. Wow.
understand. But she was phenomenal, and I bought a boy that was out of some Lucky Luciano blood, but he was a standard as well. And I bred those two dogs, and I sold the puppies, 1,500, 2,000 on some of the local pet sites and stuff like that. And I took the money and I went and bought. At the time, I was very green, but I went and spent $10,000 on a Trimural. Keep in mind, 2018, all the Trimurals were 5-figure dogs, kind of regardless of how the quality was of the dog, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so Willow, my foundation female, that was the Gaudy and Dachshund dog. Her stomach flipped that same year, and unfortunately, she never got to really see me through this journey. She got what they call bloat, the stomach twisted,
Yeah.
and they couldn't operate it on it in time, and so we lost her. And that's been a big regret for me from the very start of this whole thing. Was like, she was such an incredible and very bully dog. She really, it probably took me 3 years to get a female of that quality, buying from big name camps and actually looking for XL females. And it's funny how that can happen, how you can set out with an intent and a budget to buy a nice, big, large bully female and keep coming up short. But then the dog that you bought when you knew nothing was
Yeah,
phenomenal. So,
exactly.
And you
I've
stuck with
seen. It's
it.
funny. It's funny how what you're saying is so recently in my view of life. Just
100%.
did a class on I say class for lack of a better term on bloat last night on
Yep.
Yeah.
QBN where I co-host that, um, and then what you're saying about that right there. I just watched a video today about how it's part of the laws of the universe, as they say, where when you chase something, it runs from you, and when you hold on to something too tightly, you can't keep your grip on it.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
just kind of how things work, and so you almost have to really want it, but not let yourself get too worked up to keep it. It's funny if you're nonchalant about everything, you can seem like you can cover more ground, but if you want it real bad, it seems like it's the most elusive thing ever. I don't. It just seems to be how
Yeah.
things work. We
Man,
we
well,
you
and,
just
hit.
re-
and
we
just
just
kind of
recently had
relating to
two
that
pregnancies
topic,
that didn't take here too.
and I know this is kind of straying a little bit away from the dog talk, but I've found that a lot of times when you expect and you affirm something in your life and you expect the universe to bring that to you, and you're not prepared for what comes after that moment,
Yeah.
it usually ends in failure anyways.
Yeah,
So the laws of the universe definitely have a way of, God or whatever you believe in, definitely has a way of making things happen when they're supposed to and how they're supposed to.
that's
Because
right.
it's one of those things. Everybody wants to be a millionaire, but very few people think about what that actually looks like and how stressful that
Yeah.
could be
Oh,
to
Yeah.
yeah.
responsibly be a millionaire. So
Winning the lottery. Look how many people have gone bankrupt after they won the lottery because they don't know what to do after. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have to prepare yourself for success and the position that you're putting yourself into. And yeah, if you grab too much of it, if you put too much pressure on yourself and too much, yeah, you start to fumble that and you don't realize what to do after that.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to have a contingency plan, and yeah, it does feel like a lot of people when they hop in this, they have just the initial goals in mind, and then if they go haywire, they go south. A lot of people, it's they just would rather quit. And you know what? Honestly, though, I kind of feel like that's the cue. Like, you probably should exit stage left if this is something where you can't take those punches and keep rolling with it.
Yeah.
This does take dedication. It takes devotion. It takes love of the breed, the dogs themselves. And if that's
Absolutely.
something that you can't handle, you should not be doing this
You
at
got to
all.
fall in
Yeah,
love
for
with the
anybody that's
process
watching
and
this
not the
live, if
result.
your heart's not been broken yet, it will be.
That's a
Right.
guarantee.
Brace yourself and batten down the hatches because it keeps going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's definitely going to happen.
you gotta fall in love with the process and not the result.
right.
100%.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
I like how you said that, Michael. I really do.
I've wanted to throw in the towel a couple times. I've never been one of these people to make a status that says
Thank
everything
you.
can go. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Like we see so often. It seems like sometimes you see the same people making the same status over and over again. But there are definitely times that I've said, all right, this is it. This is the last one. I'm done.
Yeah.
And then it takes about 3 days of hanging out with my dogs, and I'm like, oh, well, we're back.
Yeah,
So
there ain't no way. There ain't no way.
Well, yeah, because you love them so much and you've invested so much of yourself in them, and then they have returned that investment in whatever way they're capable, whether it's your couch potato, whether or not it's one of your top producers or one of your top show dogs. It's like they've performed for you. They've invested in you. They've or paid off the investment that you've given thus far. It's like if you still got that going for you, and they still love it, you still love it, then I mean, come on, man, that's a winning formula.
Yeah.
I
Comes a
I said,
lifestyle.
wanted to throw the
I've wanted to
entire
throw the
laundry
entire
basket.
line.
Yeah, that's my wife, and we've hell, yeah, we wanted to burn the laundry basket a couple times, but I tell you what, I like what I just said. Really, it applies to everything in life. Really, man. If I've learned it in my dump truck business and with the dogs and everything.
Mhm.
If I get hyper focused on the result and comparing myself to other people and where they're at and all that, it's just an endless ensemble of discontent, man. If I ain't unhappy today, I'll be unhappy tomorrow. Trying to figure out, like, God, how are they doing that? They just keep getting lucky. All these lucky assholes out here, and blah 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 blah. And 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 that's an easy place to get caught up and get miserable at, man. But I've learned
100%.
Is
I
that
don't
what you say
invest.
about Caleb?
Yeah,
Yeah. He's literally texted me that a couple times. You
yeah,
dickhead.
yeah, yeah. So
Sure.
I've learned that if you quit focusing on the wins and losses and where everybody else is at, which I've developed the ability to do that. I just bumping my head so many times in life, but I just focus on the process, man. Where am I at? What's my next best move? And like, I'm ambitious, but I know I can only go one piece at a time, and I just got to build this thing and make sure it's my baby, and I do what I want to with it, and keep my heart in it, man. Because if I start
Yeah.
comparing and
There
all
you
that,
go.
it's easy to zap your joy out of it, man. You're looking at, like, you start getting resentful, and it hurts to live like that. I just rather, hey, I'm happy where I'm at, and if I can get all the way up the mountain, I can't wait to see the view.
There
That's
you go.
right.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and I do think that obviously, everybody's different. I've met some people that they have to go all in. They have to take every risk they can take to feel alive. And for whatever reason, those seem to be the kind of people that end up getting what they want. I've seen other people that have contemplated moves for a year and then finally stepped out of their comfort zone, and it falls apart in their face. So, I mean, it's
Yeah.
obviously on a case-by-case basis. And as you guys know, with this breeding thing, it's as much about luck as it is anything else.
100%.
Luck and Murphy's
100%.
law, right?
Yeah. Prepare,
Yeah.
like, prepare for the worst, but plan accordingly. But yeah, you got to be prepared to not come out on top every single time, and that's just so hard. That's just so hard.
As far as going back to kind of where we're at with our program,
Yeah.
we've definitely rearranged things and restarted a couple different times, and we've put some things out of the program altogether because it didn't work out. But for the most part, as y'all know, we run a lot of the Bossy Blood. studied on pedigrees and just in general, but particularly that stuff, you'd have a hard time saying a dog's name to me and me not knowing what's behind it when it comes to that particular arena of XL blood, which, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I think you could say that about most XLs. I really spend way too much time on Pitpedia. I think the wife says that it's my biggest addiction, but that's kind of the blood that we run. We're really shooting to eventually make it into the show ring. We've had some dogs that have shown that we've sold to other people. Nothing that's really came to, any sort of success or anything like that. And a lot of that is just circumstantial. I'll leave it there, but it's definitely something that we're going to lean into in the next year or so. We're really, I feel like, hitting our stride. I've figured out, I feel like, what really works for me in terms of planning breedings around the end of 2023. And then in 2023, we had a really bad parvo outbreak that eliminated a bunch of puppies that were on the ground all at the same time. And it really set us back, hurt us. I moved because of it, which was whole nother financial downturn thing. And so we really took a good chunk of last year off. We had one litter all year, which was our Zippo and C4 breeding. And then this year we went into things with a clean slate and said, it's time to get back to work. It's time to kind of put the heartache behind you and figure this out. And, here we are.
Yeah.
Well, look, dude, I commend you for pushing through the hard times like that. I love to see it when people don't tap out. They don't give up. Even sometimes we get close, but, it comes back to the love for the dogs, man, and trying to, really nail down what it is your vision is, man, and push through it and stuff. I just love to hear that you are still in that fight, man. It's a lifelong thing, man, and there are a lot of lottery ticket winners out here that that think that they built this dog that they bought, and then it's like, oh, they're the man now because they got so and so, but they really they haven't earned it, but they got it nonetheless. And then when you're trying to build it from scratch and earn it, man, you're going to take some hits, but you will eventually break through. And sounds like you got the right mindset, man. That's awesome, dude.
Well, and our program is a bit of both. We've built a lot of things from scratch. I've bred dogs that other people told me, don't breed that dog. It has no breed type. It has no attributes. And I've ended up, here we are 3 years later, and they've got phenomenal children and grandchildren. And then I've also been the type of person that just said, all right, let's go spend some money and buy so-and-so's big name dog because we need it,
Yeah.
So Adam Fields asked me, what did you do to combat parvo?
Yes.
And I don't know if you're talking about treatment or if you're talking about, preventative measures. So I'll kind of touch on both. We saved 9 out of 11 puppies and all 4 of the juveniles that got it.
Nice.
And what we did was I went to the vet and I got diagnosis initially. And I treated the first 2 puppies that contracted it with the new monoclonal antibody, which is so far in studies a 100% success rate at curing parvo.
Wow.
But the problem with that new monoclonal antibody is it's $500 per 10 pounds. Ooh. So when you have a widespread outbreak amongst a litter and a half, you can't afford to treat everybody with that. So what we did was Baytril, subcutaneous fluids, kaolin pectin, and then Zofran put in rectally. Zofran is for the vomiting, and obviously, if you can control the vomiting, you still have to fight the diarrhea. But if you can control the vomiting, you can get something in them, whether it be sugar water or honey or beef liver water, whatever. Yes, they're going to lose a lot of it, but something's going to stick. And so the biggest things with parvo, obviously,
work the best for you?
Lactated ringers.
Huh?
Lactated ringers.
So to answer the other part of that question, what do you do about your environment?
Well, so we moved again, and that really, really helped. I took a major loss because I couldn't afford to get it sold for what I bought for, but I let go of a $12,000 whelping building for about $3,000 just to get rid of it and build some kennels. So we moved. We started from scratch with kennels, and then now all of our puppies get Neopar at 4 weeks as
Yeah.
well as at 6 weeks. And that's the earliest you can give it to them. Neopar is really, really good.
Okay.
Still not 100% effective, but it's about the only thing that doesn't interfere or isn't weakened by the naughties that are present in the mother's milk. So it's
Oh,
really, really
okay.
good to get that early shot of 4-week Neopar in them. And I believe you can actually give Neopar at 3 weeks at 21 days as well. I've never bothered with it. We haven't had parvo since then. But if you ever feel like you're in a dangerous spot, go ahead and hit them at 21 days.
Are you
Yeah.
still not able to see us?
No.
Back your phone up from you just a hair.
Okay.
Right there, so because we can see you, and I felt like I was climbing around in your mouth there for a minute.
My bad, man. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're all right. You can't see. You can't see, but I'm just letting you know. So like,
Oh
I
my
can see. I
gosh.
can see your lips and teeth for the last 10 minutes, but that's all right. They're not
It's
bad
got
almost
looking
like
black
when
lips
they're
or
on
screen.
these
anything. You're
free
doing great,
screens, and
bud.
mine's like right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm like almost where you did. Oh, my sorry, guys. Ready for my
Well, y'all tell
close-up
if I
this time,
flossed today
though.
or not.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to help, brother. So it sounds like you really went down that road, man. That's golly. I know that was an emotionally intense few
It
weeks.
was emotional. I've kind of always been one of those people who I want to learn how to do it myself, regardless what it is.
Yeah.
And it really taught me a lot about just how capable breeders can be of treating their own stock for things.
Yeah.
Like obviously, there are things that are going to need surgical intervention, but that prepared me for a whole host of things. I mean, if we have newborn puppies that are starting to fade now, we give them subcutaneous fluids, just because I know how, and it'll help. And I wouldn't know that if it weren't for the parvo experience.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah,
Well,
you got to learn from everything.
that's just it. Like we were saying about, kind of a little bit of I don't want to say the narrative, but the backstory to this story tonight seems to be, pushing through. And it's like, how many different punches can you get hit with before you actually pretty good at fighting? You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
as you fumble through this and go and bump your head in all these different places and get all these experience, you're becoming well versed. And it's inevitable that you get more and more of the ground covered, and learn from all your mistakes and all your lessons, and that's where knowledge comes from. That's where wisdom comes from, man. And it
100%.
sounds like when it comes to parvo, I'm an educator, man. This is education on these dogs is what I do, and you know more about parvo than I do. I mean, and that uh that just shows that you really dig in on that education and stuff, man. That's a great thing to do, man. I hope we don't have to deal with it here, but I know who I'm calling if I have any questions.
Damn
Right.
Yeah,
right.
just holler
Absolutely.
if you've ever got anything like that going on. And I mean, I know a lot about how to treat dogs for things, and a lot of different ways to get things as well. Things that normally require a veterinary trip, and I'll leave that there. But coccidia, giardia, all of those things, I've got protocols written down for anybody that ever needs help with parasite
Nice.
control, parasite issues.
There we go.
Um,
That's what I like to hear right there.
I've got a stud semen protocol that I've got in my notes for anybody who's having issues with their voice count or motility or blood in the semen or anything like that. It's because I've lived it. I keep a note on how to tackle it, and if I can help somebody, I'll help them.
That's amazing. I mean,
Yeah, dude, that's great to know and great information to, that's inspiring is what it is, man. We're all on that type of stuff over here, right?
oh, yeah, we're all
Uh,
got that. That's why we exist. That's why the
yeah,
show even exists.
that's
Is for
right.
that exact
Reach one,
purpose.
teach one. That's the man's favorite line. That's the motto here. But to hear every time we have another person on the show that has that mindset about like, hey, whatever I can do to help, if I've been through it, I can walk you through it. All that open door to other people and offering a helping hand like that, man. That's how this thing works better, and we love to see that. I'm happy to hear that.
Hey, I
100%.
appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Caleb, before I dropped my phone earlier, you said something about that breeding that we announced today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that actually kind of fell in our lap just a little bit.
Let's hear about it. I missed that part, I guess.
Right.
Obviously, on paper, it looks really, really good, and I think it's going to be one of our best yet. But there was a long road of coincidences that got us here.
Yeah.
So we're taking Bossy's bacon. We're going to be one of the first to use him to Deja, and they are first cousins. Tarzan, which is Bacon's dad, and Deja's mom, Kara, are littermate siblings off of the Jumanji and Bliss breeding. Jumanji and Bliss produced Champion Jules up there in Canada, who I
Dream.
believe is 2 wins away from Grand Champion.
Wow.
Grand Champion Dream, and then Tarzan, Ahsoka, and I forget the name of that other girl that's really nice from that litter.
Hell of a litter.
But hell of a litter, right? And so the opportunity kind of fell in our lap to line breed it. And I was like,
Yeah.
how can I pass this up? We ran Deja to Sunline's Rasta back in the spring, which is a really bully, old school looking dog. He's got a super cool look if you want to check him out. Very muscular, big block, square head, short and compact.
Who owns him?
Phenomenal dog. Sickest Bullies out in California. But it didn't take, and the plan was to repeat it. And then, like I said, this kind of fell in our lap, and it was like, well, I hate to put Rasta on the back burner, but if I've got an opportunity to use an OFA-tested, prelimed, obviously because of his age, but 130-pound, 10-month-old with preliminary OFAs reading good, and it's a line breeding, I can't skip that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And look at him. Look at his pheno.
And pheno-wise, it's going to be really, really good. They're both on the block here and shorter side of XLs. He's 22, she's 20 and a half. Obviously she's got a slight underbite because she's got some of that Brazilian stuff on dad's side, and that's come with his big freaky head and short muzzle. But Bacon seems to have a really good bite and a really good muzzle from what I've seen, so I think it'll clear up. But I'm really expecting some big rib cages, big rears, short backs. And my partner Asa is actually in the chat. That's his breeding. That's his breeding as well. We co-own that female.
Nice.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's got the last of something very special, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on his yard. The last son of someone very, very special.
Ocho?
Huh?
Are you talking about Ocho?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ocho's
The Markov son?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think he's the last one.
Wow.
The last one that's still
Unfortunately, Ocho passed away earlier in the year. We didn't really publicize it, as
Dang,
we don't do
I'm
with a
so
lot of our
sorry.
losses. But yeah, he was an old man. He was 8 years old, and
Beautiful. Holy God, dog.
Yeah.
Sorry,
But
you can see my camera shaking.
am I still super close? Sorry.
No,
There you
very good. I'm so sorry, Asa. I had no idea about Osho. Man, that's very sad. He was a beautiful dog. Man, that's rough. I'm so sorry to have brought that up. I had no idea.
It's okay. Things happen. We have an Ocho grandson that is insane. Chocolate bar. So
I see your
we're
pictures of him.
definitely
Okay.
we're still running the blood, and
Good. We needed to.
we'll be integrating that very soon. I actually need to confirm next week on some chocolate bar puppies.
Oh,
Who
nice. Okay.
are you
Well,
picking
in
to
advance,
talk about?
congratulations on that. Hey, we had a
Okay.
question from Adam. Um, and I want to know how you feel about this too. You're very educated on things. What do you feel about plasma treatment?
So I've never done any plasma treatment,
Yeah.
as far as like with parvo or anything like that. I have done plasma for newborn puppies after a C-section.
Okay.
Give a mom's plasma.
Mhm.
And you can do that a number of ways. The most effective way is to inject them with it. But you can even put plasma on their eyelids and their nose, and some of the antibodies will absorb through the skin. Or you can feed it to them as well. I didn't know any of this until I talked to my vet about it. But the most effective way is going to be through injection. But kind of the idea there is you're delivering the immunities and the antibodies of another dog into the body of the infected animal or the newly born animal if it's the case of a neonatal puppy. It's
Yeah.
really, really good if you can to get plasma from the mom with a newborn
Right.
because say she doesn't have milk because the C-section timing was off or she's a first-time mom and she's not wanting to feed them or whatever the case may be, anything that she's immunized for is in that blood plasma and will be passed on to those puppies.
When do you take it
Yeah.
from the when do we take it from the female? When do you take it from the mom?
You can take it from her while she's under for the C-section.
Okay.
Okay.
And you can
Okay.
actually freeze
Yeah.
it too, correct? Can't you actually freeze it and
Yeah. You can freeze it, and you can actually buy dog plasma as well from most veterinarians. It doesn't have to specifically be. A lot of vets keep bags of plasma on ice, so it's
yeah.
always something you can ask about as well. But it is a lifesaver in a situation where mom's not wanting to nurse for the first 24 hours, or she doesn't have milk or whatever, and you've got a bunch of hungry babies who aren't getting their colostrum. Which I feel like most people in the chat are going to know this, but colostrum is your dog's entire immune system when they're first born. So they get a number of things from that colostrum in the first 24 hours of milk before it changes, like binding proteins, immunoglobulins, antibodies, and things like that are going to set that puppy up for success. So
Yeah.
if you don't have a mom producing milk, plasma is definitely a go-to.
Literally a lifesaver in that point because
Yeah.
it's providing what really what you would get from the colostrum, but without the colostrum, like you need the plasma to get those antibodies from the mom.
Right. Which somebody else said this in here, or no, they didn't. But another thing that they were experimenting with for parvo before the antibody came out, and a lot of actual parvo research has got shut down because the antibody is so effective. But one thing that they were actually doing research on was fecal transplants and taking feces from a healthy dog and placing it in the butt of a sick dog. And for whatever reason, that helps the body learn how to fight parvo, which is very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would not have been.
That
Kind of makes you wonder,
that's
like, what made them think of that.
So does it have to do with the gut bacteria?
I'm not entirely sure. I figure it probably has to do with antibodies.
wow.
But I don't know why that works. I just know that there were some studies on it and it would be an effective treatment. The whole thing about is it destroys I can't remember the name of the tissue, but they basically have these tiny little tentacles that are almost finger shaped in their guts that slow down the speed of digestion. And parvo attacks rapidly dividing cells, and in a young puppy, those are the rapidly dividing cells. And so a lot of times those, I cannot think of the name of them for the life of me at the moment, but those little tendrils, basically those tentacles that slow digestion down, will curl up and die and fall off. And so the gut is raw and everything that is going through it is passing right through.
Yeah.
And then also the gut is hemorrhaging and bleeding at the same time. And so you have a loss of pretty much anything that the dog is taking in plus extra. dehydration is what kills with parvo 90% of the time. The other 10% of the time is secondary infections because they're so run down from the parvo.
Yeah, and then probably hydration behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sinatra said they're talking about feces for human cancer also, and Adam said negative, Ghost Rider. But I tell you what, I watched the whole thing on that too, where they're. I know it sounds crazy, man, and I'm not saying whether somebody should do it or not. I don't know enough about it, but they were talking about, having like capsules that you take every so often for an extended period of time to fix things in the body. I'd like to know how somebody went down the road of figuring that out.
That's what I was like, what made them think
So
of
I
that?
got an idea. Let's try this.
So capsules, you're talking about inserting them in, like,
I'm talking about
anally.
them putting some kind of dehydrated or some kind of feces in a capsule and ingesting it. Yeah.
Wow.
So when someone tells you to eat shit, damn. Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that
that
could be done quite literally.
I didn't either. I thought I watched the video and I went to looking it up and I thought, is this real?
is this some real
Uh,
shit?
Yes.
no kid, no pun intended, right? But it was it actually is real shit and literally and there's a lot of research into this,
But you ain't lying. How did this research take place?
right?
Like,
How
how
did
do
it
you get
start?
people to, like, hey, do
I'd
you want
love
to be
to
a
see
part of
the
this
notes.
research? Hell no.
Yeah, I would really love to see the notes on it, like from every perspective, every time. So eat shit means get well
I'm not.
soon.
Sinatra
Yeah,
said there's
I'm
a
not telling my
lab.
enemies to eat shit anymore.
Yeah,
Oh my
right.
gosh. Sinatra said there's a lab there is a lab that will pay you up to $500 for your poop. They're using it for a lot. Man, I will fly out there if you. I will give you all the
Yeah, I mean,
basic.
how much do they need?
You would.
I mean, how many doses
Like,
do they
sign me
want?
up.
Hey,
Oh my
will
god.
they pay per diem for my trip? You know
Y'all,
what I'm saying? Uh,
y'all, Josh commented someone summoned me while y'all are talking about eating shit. So I'm
Oh my
gonna let
gosh.
y'all address that.
The timing couldn't have been better, Josh. I'm so sorry, but yeah, no,
The
I
timing is
earlier. I
impeccable
didn't.
for John.
Oh, Josh.
Oh, hey, Sinatra said I'm dead serious. He signed up last month.
Hey, shout
hey,
out
hey,
Sinatra,
send me a
man.
link. Sinatra, send me a link.
Getting
Yes,
off
Ace.
getting off the poop talk. I don't know if y'all have had him on or not because I don't catch every week, but
Yeah.
that dude is an encyclopedia of the history of
Josh.
the breed.
Oh,
Sinatra is
Sinatra.
just
Oh yeah,
Thanks. Yeah,
yeah.
we've had
yeah.
Sinatra
Josh
down
definitely
here.
has a lot too, but
Uh,
yeah, that's
that man's a
Sinatra's
young. He's a
super.
young legend when you get done.
Yeah,
100%. That's the best way to talk about him.
I love talking to that dude about dogs, and
I
Yeah.
was shocked to
he's
find out that I'm older than him, and but he's been in this for so, like, I had no idea what age he'd started in it, only to find out
yeah.
that like,
I
he's
think they
younger than
kidnapped
me.
him at the streets like 5 years old and threw him in the kennel next to Gotti. Is what I
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah.
And then he started taking
I don't
pictures
know,
of
first
all of
dog at
them
7. Like, what?
at that age, and he can tell you about
Yeah.
all of them. All
Oh
of
yeah,
them.
oh yeah. No, that man.
Yeah.
Like
And
you,
we've had him on multiple times. He's incredible to talk to. Like having private conversations with him, it's like you said, it's like talking to the highest level of knowledge of a breed or of a subject. Because anything that you talk to him about, like he knows, he was there,
Got the
and he.
experience to go with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and so like when I stumbled upon Sinatra's page, I had all these questions. I literally, and it's kind of maybe American Psycho of me, but I had written down question marks and screenshots of certain pedigrees. Like this don't make no fucking sense. And the moment I found out about him and found out about his catalog and how long he'd been around and all that stuff, I just started hitting him constantly there for a little bit about, hey, I know this breeding's not right. What's really here?
Yeah.
You know,
What
and
really happened behind the scenes with this one? Yep.
yeah, and it was really, really helpful. It definitely illuminated a lot of things for me. Josh, the camera's so close to my face because I needed you to see if I flossed today or not.
Oh, and he will tell his opinion on whether you did or not too. And
Yeah, well,
Josh,
so
You really
here's the
thank
will.
you
thing
for
is
your
like,
comment.
it
Oh
doesn't
my
look like
goodness.
I'm that close on my screen because now I can see myself again. I don't know. Whatever.
Facebook's weird. Damn it, Meta.
Yeah.
I
And
can see my both.
Sinatra and his wisdom in this and experience and knowledge and all that ties back into what we were saying earlier about
Mhm.
just sticking with this and staying in, and you bump your head in all these different places, but if you just keep putting in the work, putting in the time, eventually, like I said earlier, you learn how to fight because you've been hit with so many different things. And he's a good example of that. He's been in this thing a long time and seen a lot of different waves of the community for sure.
Josh said, "Let's talk about the hairless." Man, all you gotta do is just keep
Ooh, yeah.
line breeding lilac dogs, and you'll all end up with hairless dogs.
That's how they did it for sure.
No, that's not how
Oh,
they.
yeah, those double dilutes, man.
Wait,
I
wait,
mean,
wait!
they're
Don't
looking
say
for
that.
anything.
We don't want to tell them how to do it. We don't want to tell them how to do it.
No,
That's
I don't want my
crazy. So
dog to look like an
that's
upset. I just can't.
so
I
that's
can't.
really Amanda Hush. That's really, really taking place. Like they are literally doing hairless XLs at this point. I've seen a hairless like Frenchie, and it's like I wanted to put lotion on it and like put a towel around it and put it to
Do
sleep.
you
But
that
Well, so
Frenchie?
here's
My God,
yes,
with the
so
mohawk
so here.
in
yes,
Bessemer. Oh
yes.
my God, dude! I'll never forget that dog, man.
I've seen them multiple times, and it's like
Here's
what?
the whole thing with the hairless is um, what I think is going on. So, is anybody familiar with Kenneth Francis Whitfield? Any of y'all know him? Know who that is?
Mm-mm. Not me
Uh,
personally.
so Ken owns a kennel called Blue Swagger Line, and Ken was at the very front of the Merles. Um, earlier than some of the Merles that have popped up now. Everybody kind of runs the Kingslayer and his sibling stuff, the Odd Job Lilo, but Ken had Merles back in 2012, 2013, and he was doing double Merle breedings and all that stuff. And he really, if you ever give his page a visit, it's wild because he's kind of like one part the Joker, one part the Riddler, one part Dogman, one part local crackhead. Um,
Dang.
and I say that endearingly.
Oh
I know that this isn't
my
the
dang.
I know this
Let's
isn't
be
the live
fair
for
about it.
that,
Oh my
but
god!
like, just go read some of his posts sometime. But he started doing hairlesses about 5 years ago, and he was calling them the Creole Bully. And I think some of his dogs made their way into Europe because the first actual nice hairless XLs, and it's weird to say that because they have breed type. I hate it, but like, there's some bully ass dogs over there in Europe. But I think his dogs made it over there and they crossed it into some like traditional American bully stock. And I think that's where all that stuff came from because he's the only person I knew who was doing it before that. But there's
Yeah.
like a kennel in Spain that has a crazy looking hairless. Like he has crazy bones, super heavy substance. It's wild looking. And I still am not with it, but like at least the guy did better at making a hairless than most people do at making a bully.
Oh,
So
Um,
it's a
I'll have to
it's
look
a
into that.
buff
That's
hairless bully. Like, what are the skin conditions and what are the conditions that you're bringing in with a
I'm,
absolutely.
hairless?
I'm
And
sure it's
the
not good.
precautions to take.
Like, think about it. Like, I got to put sunblock on my head. Michael, you got to put sunblock on your head because you got to condition, like, to really put it in human terms, you got to condition your skin for
Mhm.
the conditions. And if we were bald all over and didn't have clothes on and things like that, like, there's different things that the fur should be there for to protect you from certain like
Well,
it's crazy to me. I don't agree with it.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
so
the
at the very least,
dehydration and
the dogs that I have seen are blue and black skinned, so that may help the sunburns. Not to say that they're
Yeah,
protected from literally anything else, but
yeah.
they're probably protected from the sun at the very least because of their pigmentation. But um,
moisturizer alone. God, you have to spend so much on just moisturizing the skin and
it puts the lotion on the skin, or else it gets the hose again.
That's right.
Um, so
oh
Ken,
no.
Ken Francis Whitfield also has been saying for the last 2 years that he is using CRISPR to create glow-in-the-dark dogs. So when you see that pop up in a trend in a few years,
No,
just
please
know at that
no.
point, the guy is 3 for 3 on starting trends.
Glow in the dark. Glow in the dark dogs.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
using jellyfish DNA to create glow-in-the-dark bullies.
I didn't know.
That
Dang.
is
So that's
crazy.
being done right now.
Yes. When I told
I
you the
mean,
dude is out there,
how bright are they?
I don't know. I
What's
mean, I've seen videos of them. You can't tell they
Basically,
glow
you're
unless you put a
mentally
phone
tired.
flashlight on them.
so he's got some glow. I wonder what's the process of this? How many dogs are dying during the process of creating these new trends of
Right.
Well, the science for that has been around for about 15 years now. They actually
CRISPR technology.
CRISPR for
Oh, yeah, it's great.
specifically glow in the dark. They've been using it in laboratory cats and dogs for like actually seeing if gene splicing worked for like 15 years. And like one of the ways that they do that, like with cats, for instance, they will cut out a section of a cat's DNA that makes them susceptible to feline AIDS. And then the piece of DNA that they put in place of it, they will attach the glow in the dark gene from jellyfish. And then if it works and the kittens are born glowing, they know that those cats are then immune to AIDS.
oh my
What
god.
the shit?
Yeah, and they've been doing that with cats. Glow in the dark fish are a big thing in Southeast Asia for pets. So it's been going on long enough that it's made it to the commercial pet market in other countries, you know.
Did
Glow in
you
the
hear
dark,
where they're
fluffy XL
So
boys.
glow in the dark
Mhm.
fish are, but so now they're making it. So I want to glow in the dark cat. I want to glow in the dark dog. Like,
Well,
how
Well,
in
you
the
need to
world
hit.
do we
I mean,
transition that a jellyfish to a fish? Is it seems like that would be easy, but jellyfish to a cat DNA?
Did you hear where they're bringing back? They're using CRISPR technology to make 100 woolly mammals, and
yeah,
they already brought back 3 dire wolves.
which is crazy though, because actually that's a bit of a not fabrication. It's a an exaggeration because they're not recreating a dire wolf. They have like a blip on the radar worth of DNA, so they're essentially just making really big wolves, just really big wolves out of gray wolves. So it's not like they're actually
Well, that
recreating a dire wolf. It's,
They're trying to get back to it though, and the same
oh
with the
yeah,
woolly
I mean they're
mammoth.
that
definitely trying to make their
company
way there, but yeah,
that
it's
company has came under a lot of fire because they oversold what they were doing to their investors.
oh very much
Uh,
so.
the dire wolves are like 1% dire wolf and 98% gray wolf.
Yeah.
Same thing with their woolly mammoth project was like they just managed to find what part of the DNA was responsible for the woolly gene. And first they tested it in mice and they made woolly mice. And then when the woolly mice worked, now they want to try and add that to Indian elephants. And that's probably still an oversimplification, but like that's kind of what they're doing is they're selling like they're recreating the woolly mammoth, but in reality it's probably like 10% woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, they got dogs that are 10% glowing jellyfish now too, bro. So
But
Oh, weirds me out.
if you
Weirds me
Google
out.
CRISPR glow in the dark animals, they've done it to a bunch of different animals. So as far as whether Ken is really doing it or if he's just BSing, I don't know. But I will say the man was not BSing when he made hairless bullies, and he wasn't BSing when he started the Merle bullies. So
Woken.
Man, these poor animals. Like, think about it. Like, literally, like we are putting these animals through like a laboratory. Like, rats. Everyone's like, okay, rats, it's fine. Like, they're lab rats, literally. But people don't realize that creating these different strands of different things, especially when it's going against really what we should be doing, like hairless and merle to merle and things like that. Like it's understood not to do it, and we're still doing it. We're putting these animals through lab tests, and how many of them actually come out on the other side? Because that's never going to be in the books. That's kind of
Yeah.
discarded, literally
I
discarded
agree, man.
animals that
That all dogs are designer dogs, but
Yeah.
designing a dog and doing what you're talking about is two different things, man.
exactly not
Yeah.
laboratory. It's not a experiment. It's understanding what you're doing and doing it. But
Yeah.
yeah, to
So,
make a
so do you guys feel the same
hairless.
way about cloning?
Oh,
Cloning
I
it.
need I need to know more about it. I haven't looked into exactly
Cloning
Yeah.
how that
dogs and
takes
cloning
place.
people. I know Bossy cloned some dogs recently, right?
Yeah. So Bossy cloned Good Bar,
Okay.
and then Jeff over there at Titan Bullies cloned Sinister.
Sinister. Yeah.
And as far as I know, that's it right now. I've heard some rumblings of a Miyagi clone, but I've never seen him.
That's what I
Yeah.
heard. Yeah. I heard
And
that too.
so, kind of the way that works is they remove the egg, they harvest an egg from a female,
Yeah.
they scrub it of DNA, a fertilized egg. They scrub it of DNA and they take the DNA that they harvest from the
Women.
deceased animal and
Yeah.
place it in the egg, and then they implant the eggs back in a donor female. Like Good Bar was born from, I believe somebody said a lab, like a Labrador Retriever.
Wow. So she's
Um,
literally like a surrogate.
What
yeah,
on earth is
it's a
happening?
surrogate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most people only get one, and they're usually lucky to get one after 2 or 3 tries because a lot of the clones don't make it, or they don't implant
Yeah.
correctly, or whatever the case. And Cat ended up with 3 Good Bar clones, so that's kind
Wow.
of crazy too.
It is.
Yeah. No, I don't know about
Here's
that. Like when they call it
here's
a
what
once
I
in a
think
lifetime
about
dog, I kind of feel like that should be legitimate, like once in a lifetime dog.
cloning. It to me is a lot like frozen sperm. By the time it's relevant, I mean, there's some great dogs that'd be great to use if we could again that are gone. But for the most part, the bully breed is still evolving, and so by the time a dog is gone enough to bring back, you know, we're further in the progression of this,
Right.
and so there are dogs that died ahead of their time and things like that that have been great to use or go back and use and stuff like that, but
That's what
most of
straws
the
are for. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what straws are for. I just the cloning weirds me out a smidge, just because it just weirds me out because I don't know enough
Well,
about it.
the flip side is frozen is difficult to work with.
Sure.
So if you can clone the dog and manage to get another 5 or 6 years out of that dog, it could be worth it for you for the right dog. I understand that side of it.
I mean, Pet Cemetery comes to mind. You know,
When you said it, I was just sitting there thinking like,
I mean, I'm not saying that's
it
the
never
way it
comes
goes
back the
down, but
same, does it?
when you get up to get some milk and cookies at 2 in the morning, that dog's eyes are glowing in the living room like jellyfish.
No.
I tell
That
you
was the
what.
jellyfish they injected it with. No. That's just the jellyfish.
Oh,
Don't panic.
Oh
you
my
The
are
whole thing
goodness.
is
crazy.
glowing. You're
You are
fine.
fucking crazy. Well, to
Yeah.
take it a step further, Aaron, like with females, like you said, like you can literally use a surrogate so you can actually scrape the inside of the female, like the eggs, things like that. And can't you put them on shelf just like you can like a male sperm and actually
Yeah,
reutilize the female?
you can save eggs and use them later on too. I don't know with dogs. I know with humans for sure. Like they're women that freeze their eggs. Um, so I'm sure that the technology's been developed for dogs. Most of that stuff starts in animal sciences before it makes it to humans because humans are more
Yeah,
difficult.
100%.
So um, I don't know, but and see that's another thing is like you can clone females. You You know, with a stud you can freeze, but you can't freeze that female. Not, I mean, I guess we just talked about you can do it, but it's probably not as easy as freezing semen.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
freezing
I'm
eggs.
sure. I'm sure it's a lot more touchy and like a lot less doctors that
Yeah.
would really go down that rabbit hole to make that take place, because you got to find a surrogate, you got to get the sperm on those eggs and
And then you got to
implant
hope
to a
that,
female.
and then you've got to hope that that egg that you froze for 6 years implants.
Yeah,
You know,
What's Tonio talking about? He said my clone came out pocket.
he's trying to
Right.
make a joke. I'm gonna give him the punchline before he gets to it. He's gonna say that I'm his son and that I'm his clone. So to ruin his punchline, damn you, Tonio.
Beat you
Yeah.
to it. Beat you to it.
Well, I was
I
trying to
love that
draw
dude.
attention to it without giving it away, but you ruined that for me too. So whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
gonna ruin it for
really glad
him
he
because
was telling us
I'm not
about the
gonna be the
baby
butt of the
board. I was just
joke.
like, he's talking about Caleb, how cute. Any minute
Tonio,
now, and
what's
then
up,
you
baby?
ruined it. It's fine. You ruined
Yeah, no,
everything.
love that dude. But Aaron, like, man, you do the research. Like, you really, really know literally and figuratively, like the inside and outside of a female, like, and a dog, and how to like process this, the science of it. And when you get wrapped up in the science, he goes down this rabbit hole that never ever stops. And I think
it
that's
does.
really like where we're at in the community, because it's like, how far can we push this? How far can we how can we get to this dog that we're looking for? How can we, and let's incorporate science, because yeah, my eyes is the pheno, but let's look at the science of it and let's really see how I can make this dog that I'm envisioning in my head. And
Well,
like that's oh, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say that's my fascination with the science side of it. Is like, obviously I'm not somebody who's gonna go spend $50,000 on a clone. I'm gonna buy property long before I do that. You know what I mean? More property.
Yeah.
But I'm fascinated by that side of it because it opens up all of these what if scenarios, right? Um, and you can equate it to whatever breeding that you ever dreamed of that to you should have happened that didn't happen is now on the table if you have the investors to do it. If you think that Blue Rock Titanium Tank should have gone to insert female name here, Pro Bulls Pearl.
Yeah.
Obviously those two dogs know because they've been dead for 10 years. But like any current modern dog that dies within, the last year or so, you could have froze that dog and freaking cloned it and then ran that breeding down the road. It's insane.
Imagine thinking about what would have taken place with that breeding that you just said. That breeding that you just said would hit it out of the fucking park.
I'm
You hope so.
fascinated with
You
I'm
absolutely
fascinated
hope
with the
so.
science. Sorry, Amanda, go ahead.
But I was saying, but then again, it's just, we were talking about that earlier, how some things hit and some things don't. It's like, well, like, I kind of feel like the mystery should be left. Like, I don't know, but, would that be a good pairing on paper? Yeah, ideally, sure. But
Isn't it interesting how science can cross a moral line at some point? There is for most people, I'm not saying that it's how I feel. I'm just saying for most people, there's a line where, the ant doesn't need the internet. There's a line
Yeah.
where we're doing things we shouldn't be doing. There's a line where that AI shouldn't reach, uh, there is for most people, there is a line. And it's interesting to me that that these two things become so conflicting between morality and
well, but then
science.
again, and a point can be made, and even Sean said it, that there are certain things that science has allowed us to do that normally we'd have to pray for. TCI, just surgicals, things like that. The treatment for parvo. Like, these are all
C-section.
things, yes, C-sections. These are all things that came from science, and it is kind of toying with Mother Nature. But then again, we also kind of created a breed that has a hard time pushing puppies. So it's like, at that point, it's these certain aspects of these scientific breakthroughs have actually kind of saved our breed. So, I mean, can you take a stick at it?
And what you said about the ants getting the internet is like, that's the whole thing about something like this, right? Is like, if the canine genome never gets explored and never gets broken down, and we never find out what genes are responsible for what, we don't get embark. We don't get to breed a healthier dog because of that. But at the same time, it's because the canine genome has been explored that we have people making glow-in-the-dark dogs. So, like, any science is not necessarily good or bad inherently. It's going to come down to the application of it, just like
Thank
nuclear
you.
technology or vaccinations or whatever.
How it's ran with.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a good point. That's just life, man. You're gonna have the full spectrum of possibility and variety, and people are anything they can do, they will do. But what? But it's an interesting conversation to have of where the line of right and wrong lies, and is there a line? It really is. It's like, what's too far, and if one person thinks it okay, is it okay? I mean, how does that? Where's the line on that? It's a tough call to make.
Yeah.
All money ain't good money.
That's right, man. And
No.
I'm a big fan of genetics and the research and looking under the hood and learning about the genomes of these dogs and about the mitochondria and learning how to manipulate these things in our favor and stuff is good for the progression of our breed and any other breed for that matter. But I don't know about glow in the dark dogs, man. That's
It's bad enough
Yeah,
I'm
the,
still
the
hung up
line
on the
talking
glow
in
in the
the house
dark.
it's
anyways
been
at night. I
drawn.
don't want, mm-mm. Of course,
Yeah,
now I
hey,
will
this is a
say
good
though, if
question.
you've got someone peeping your house at night and that the dark motherfucker staring at them through the window, you're
Now they
probably not
might be
alone.
really cool though. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know. I'd have to see one before I make my mind up about whether or not I'm for it or against it. It might be badass. I mean, I just don't know.
You
It'd be
always
easier
know
to
where
find
they're
them if they
at.
get out of the I think that's really kind of truly the only
The
benefit is
only
if
I'm gonna
you
tell
see
you
positive,
them
what.
at
I'm gonna tell
all.
you a benefit. I'm gonna tell you a benefit that comes to mind. Just last night, my daughter was letting the dogs outside, and I said, "Don't turn that porch light on. You're drawing bugs to the front porch." And she's like, "But I can't see my dog at night."
if you had a glow in the dark dog, you
I mean,
could.
Yeah, but then your
yeah.
dog would also attract more bugs at
It's
night.
fine. It's fine.
So then
That's
you're
what
gonna have a
blue tick
whole
is
other
for.
problem. This dog's getting bit up by mosquitoes because they're all like, follow the light,
Um,
Well, maybe it'll make them hurry up and pee and poop and get back in the house.
you would see when they do. You
Problem
wouldn't
I
have to
swear to
solved.
question
God,
it.
I'm buying the first glow in the dark stud, and I'm naming him Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
Yes.
Yeah, what better name would
Oh
it be?
Oh
no,
my
3 Mile.
gosh.
3 Mile Island will be the name of the female breed.
Hey,
Dude,
so we do have a good question though. So someone says, does anyone feel like cloning a dog is taking a step back? Aaron, you're the guest.
It depends on who's doing it. Um,
What?
I don't think that that cloning is necessarily a step back. Um, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here.
Oh no, have to be careful. Say what you mean.
Sinister was a phenomenal dog and a phenomenal producer. And if the clone produces half as well as him, I don't know of many dogs like him to this day. So, that one's not necessarily a step back. Good Bar, I don't understand as much. Can y'all hear me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good Bar, I don't understand as much. He definitely had some great productions, but I don't think that it's even 10% of the dogs he threw in total. And I'm a big Good Bar fan. I'm a big fan of his best stuff, obviously. But I don't feel like that one necessarily is a step forward for Kat. And, she made a post of Bacon the other day, the stud that we're using, and said he's going to be the clone before the clones grow up. And it's like, that's why that's not a step forward to me. when you have a good bar great grandson that is already good bar size at 10 months with all of the traits and attributes that you want and better joints, there wasn't really a need to clone that dog, except
Right.
for what the market wants. And the market still has a high demand for good bars. So in that way, like that's her business. She can do whatever she wants. But I think it does come down to the dog. I personally can't think of 5 dogs I would clone.
Good. No, that's fair, because especially when you think the goal is for your, not just your stud or your bitch to actually outproduce themselves, but like if you've achieved that, then there's no point at that point, because they've outproduced themselves. So all of, their progeny is exceptional in comparison. And at that point, then you have to trust that they're going to outproduce themselves, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's like the only time that you would need to even regress and be like, no, never mind. I was wrong. I do need to clone this dog, is because even though they outproduce themselves, that generation can't produce as well. And at that point, you're like back to the drawing board. But outside of that
I
one
agree.
scenario,
I agree with
there's
that.
no point.
Well, and the argument could be made as well that like the females are better now within the program to clone the dog. Like he went to some
The
decent
male
females,
should be
but
too, though. The male should be too. Like,
Sure, yeah.
they should be. But I
so
think what I'm getting at is like Goodmore went to some really just decent or okay, tall, long females
Mhm.
and produced some champion offspring from those litters.
I like what
So
Sinatra
now,
said.
his granddaughters or his great granddaughters that are typey, and he has a granddaughter that's a XL Grand Champion. That
Yeah.
might be a crazy line breeding.
Yeah.
They already took her back directly to her dad, and it produced well. So why not see what her and her granddad could do? But at the same time, I understand absolutely what you're saying, and I do think personally, with that one, it's a little bit more about the demand for a specific stud than it is
Right.
what it produces.
Yeah, essentially it's a sales tactic. At minimum.
Yeah, and I like what Sinatra put. Like, get the semen frozen instead of cloning, because with
So,
genes, like that's what I want to see with the cloning. Genes are never. It's never 2 + 2 = 4. It's never. So
Yeah,
how
and
well is this dog gonna produce? Is it gonna produce like its clone father? Like how
well,
does that take place? Like, because there's no guarantee on with genes. So I would much rather have the frozen semen, and I want to go, if I want to go to that dog, I don't want to go to the new
yeah.
dog. That's 2.0. I want 1.0.
well, and that's a whole other thing too. Is like these clones, even though they're 99.5% or whatever, they can have phenotypical differences, and then they can have environmental differences as well. So, like in the case of Goodbar, because I talked about this with Kat on a live not long ago. Goodbar grew up very, very fast and got very, very heavy, and he actually tore his ACLs 2 or 3 times. So this time they're keeping the
And
puppies a little bit slimmer. But that opens the door for, okay, if they keep them slimmer and they're more careful with the rears will be better. But likely, because the rears are better, the dog will never overcompensate its front in the way that Goodbar did, and will never develop the robust
what you cloned
shoulders
him for.
and the extreme spread that you cloned him for.
Yeah.
So you may get a more balanced version of Goodbar,
But you may
but
not.
you won't. But you might not get the trait that you set out to get, which, in my opinion, the number one thing that dog offered was the spread in the front end.
It's kind of like the butterfly effect.
Yeah, and that 1% Labrador might pop up eventually too.
Yeah.
That's funny as shit. That's funny.
But she's got those 3 clones, and they all look slightly different. They all have slightly different markings. They're all slightly differently carrying their weight. I think she said 2 of the 3 were smaller than Goodbar at this age. So
Yeah, so how does that work? Like genes, you're paying $50,000. People have literally gone on public notice, letting them know how much we're paying. $50,000 to clone this dog, but the genetics is never. Why not just get them frozen and reuse that dog to recreate? I understand what you're saying. The females are better. So if you have a frozen straw, you're not doing. There's not an in between. There's not human error. There's not human interaction between 1.0 and 2.0. You're going straight to 1.0. Just get it frozen Like, and that's just my argument, and that's not like this is not art, but saying instead of cloning the dog, like I don't really see what cloning the dog does.
Well, and to that matter, like I've heard old school dog men in different breeds say that some studs produce better in older age, and some studs produce better when they're younger, and some females produce better in their early cycles than they do their later cycles. So, like, all that's gonna play a role too, because I feel like Good Bar really hit his prime, and some of this could be figuring out how to breed the dog. But I feel like
Yeah.
Good Bar really hit his prime around 5 or 6, right before they fixed him. So, you know, if it takes 5 or 6 again to get to that prime semen, quote unquote, that's a few years of cost as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I don't know how much truth there is to that. I don't know that there can be any study or any way to prove that or not. But I've definitely heard a lot of old school dog men that I've talked to say things like, I don't breed my bitches till 4 years old because that's when they really start throwing the quality.
Yeah.
You know,
But then there's that
and
window
It
too.
sounds
Like,
better anyway, but
Here's what I think about cloning and all that. This is my opinion. Just anything to that degree of genetic, uh, you know, modification and things like that, where they've gotten to a point that they're able to do. I think the people that are in those positions need to be real careful and try to be as professional and ethical as possible, and make sure that they're uh, concerned with the health of the dogs that they're producing and things like that, above all else. And I think if people don't get real messy there, and they're doing it ethically as possible, I mean, it's just another part of research, man. And I don't think any of us had the authority to say like, wow, that's too much, or that's this, or that's that. I mean, we all have our opinions, and I'm not saying that I'm all for it. And I agree with Caleb, that straws are as an efficient of route as any. Um, but I think the research needs to be done, and filling in those
yeah.
blanks is allowing us to move forward all together in a lot of different areas. And so, um, as long as it's done professionally and ethically, man, I think a lot can come from it.
If the research is done, but don't be a part of the research. And
yeah,
like honestly, what we were talking about, like with the clones, like people have said marketing gimmicks and things like that. I think it is to appease the markets. It's fascinating. Like people are glued to it. People want to know Good Bar 2.0. People want to know Sinister 2.0. People want to know Miyagi 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, however many times it's been cloned.
there's times they
So
have to plug in.
it's grasping, and people really to do that, and that keeps the market going, in my opinion, because I don't see any benefit in cloning a dog. Like I want to go again. I don't want to go to 2.0 that was the lab was intervened to make this take place. I want to go to the dog that was producing this dog. Why
Right.
was Good
Right.
Bar fixed so young?
I think around 7 or so, he started having some prostate issues. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote
No,
me.
that's
But I know a lot of the prime yard
good.
dogs do. Just from working and in my experience, Ocho
Well,
started to
that
have some around 6 years old. I know King Zion has had a bunch of prostate issues, a lot of bloody semen and stuff like that.
yeah.
I had a boy out of that blood that had it on both sides, and at 3 years old, he started to throw blood in the semen. We went and got an ultrasound, and he had what they call BPH, benign prostate hyperplasia,
Yeah.
which is more or less a bunch of tiny cysts start to build up in the prostate,
Yeah.
and these cysts cause swelling, and all of the tiny capillaries in the prostate bust
Mhm.
because the prostate's so swollen. The prostate itself is like a sponge, so then that sponge fills with that loose blood, and that mixes with semen. And I'm probably not going to be popular for talking about this, but it is very, very common in a lot of dogs going back to Monster Mutt and Craigslist both. It goes back to those chocolate dogs, and whether you want to believe me or not, I've just seen a ton of it.
So it sounds like a genetic defect that's really being passed on, and now we cloned it. And is
Yeah.
that gene going to be passed on? And make this
Well, it absolutely is.
controversial by any
Well,
means, but
yeah.
yeah, like why are we continuing this trait? If especially if the dog was and I'm not, like I said, I'm not coming at you like this. Please don't take it like that. But
Yeah, well,
we're
and I'm
cloning a
not taking it
dog that
anyways
was
because here's the whole thing, though, is like it's very common. How do I put this?
in Sinister young too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's common in Sinister, but it's very common in this breed in general. And like specifically,
Yeah.
I'm not calling anybody out, but Teddy Bear is off of Top Gun.
Correct.
And Top Gun is off of Chicklet Bred to Kane, and Kane's got Butterscotch behind him.
Yeah.
So the blood is in your dog. And not just through Butterscotch, but if you go and you look at Chicks Diggett's pedigree, he's like a first or second cousin to all of those chocolate prime yard dogs as well.
Yeah.
So, it's triple bred in Teddy's pedigree. You can't necessarily get away from it if you like a dog with color. Now, what you can do is eliminate dogs from the line that have the issue and try to eliminate it that way.
Yeah. There we go.
But just, as a whole, I've seen it in so many of those chocolate dogs going back to that blood. And,
Yeah.
some of the stud owners have figured out the remedy, and there is a way to combat it. I talked briefly about that at the beginning of the live. Finasteride, the same thing that they use for people like Caleb that have lost their hair. Vets will give that to the dogs.
Nicely jabbed, you bastard.
Dogs will give.
I love when they do that. This makes me so happy.
Vets will give that to dogs at 5 milligrams, and what you do is you give it to them. You give them to them for about a month, and you pull them a couple times a week, and you clear them out, and you get the swelling to go down to the prostate and let it heal. And then, in theory, as long as they don't have any more stress or any more inflammation, it should be gone.
Yeah.
I can speak from my experience. The stud I had who really had issues with it, he relapsed every time a female went in heat. The stress would make him swell up again. So at that point, it wasn't worth continuing to try to breed that dog, because if his semen's good between breedings, that doesn't help me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, most vets, like if you take your dog to the vet and a large prostate, regardless of the why, they don't they'll look for the why, and that's all fine and good. But regardless of the why, if you bring in a male with a large prostate, their very, very first instinct is going to be to say, "We got to fix him. You should fix him." Yeah. Because hormones are a hell of a drug, and hormones can also cause that issue too. So it's like,
well, and that's hormone is the biggest culprit. It's kind of right there in line with the prolapsing, and the females, which coincidentally you see that in some of the females out of that blood as well. So I don't know if that's the same issue across different genders, or if that's just like my mind coming to conclusions, but it definitely is hormonally related. And I will say the stud as well, Thor, that I had that really had issues with it, Ocho's son, he was the type of dog that went off food the day a female started swelling. He was the kind of dog that would get stressed out to the point where he would tear his nose up on a crate door or on a kennel door trying to get to the females. They are the type that really are stressed out by breeding. So
that's wild. Yeah. Some they're not eating. I mean, the crying, that's pretty common. Like the whining, the crying, the pacing, the uneasiness. But literal physical harm, like self-harm and refusing to eat in general, that's yeah. Dang.
And again, it's not every dog within that blood. It's I would say still probably not even 50%, but it's enough to note. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you feel about premium pedigree?
I don't do any health testing yet, so it's not really my place to speak on it. It's something we intend on getting done over the next few years. Probably not all of the stock, just going forward, the stuff that we really focus on. But I wouldn't mind getting a premium pedigree if I'm spending the time and the money doing the testing anyways.
Yeah.
But to me, it's not a deal breaker for planning a breeding. If a dog has some decent health testing but doesn't have a premium pedigree, I'm not going to be like, hey, you need to go spend that fucking bread with Dave. That's not what I'm
so
thinking.
The first XL that actually has a premium pedigree is actually sheep, correct?
Yeah, is a Brazilian dog.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
interesting. That's pretty cool to actually see though. I like that. I like they are going so hard in the direction
they
like
really are.
Samba kennels and everything. Like they're doing it the right way too. So all respect to what you're doing.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
their tenacity is definitely pretty remarkable.
that's another individual that is a treasure trove of information about dogs and dog breeding in general.
Yeah,
Um,
she absolutely is.
she's still filling in the blanks on a lot of the American Bully stuff. And she and I have a really good relationship. We've been friends. I was one of the first people to use Klaus, but we've been
Also,
friends
yeah,
now for going
that
on
dog knows.
3 years. But she bred dogos and showed dogos for
20
more than a
years.
decade. Yeah, 20 years before jumping into the bully world.
Yeah,
And
it wasn't new.
she really knows how to tackle a lot of health issues and how to spot, a good keeper out of a litter. And if you ever get the chance to just sit down and talk to her, she's very, very helpful.
Did you see the interview we did with her on QBN? I say we, Raul did that one.
No,
Um, it was pretty good. They went and met up and had lunch and talked about a lot of her history and stuff. And
That's cool.
she's actually really knowledgeable. And just as a breeder altogether. Here's the thing about the Brazilian Bull. I think they've got exceptional breed type. We called it before it happened that what we all thought needed to happen was it needed to have its own class, and
Well,
there was a few that kind of got grandfathered in as XLs before they really laid the hammer down on what they were going to do and came out with the final verdict.
yeah,
And Sheik was one of those dogs, and he's a beautiful dog. One thing that I hope people are factoring into, let's just take him out of the equation, but the Brazilian Bulls altogether, they haven't been around very long. And
no.
so their COIs are really low. And so when it comes to being able to throw their look, it's your genetics you're just dealing in probabilities, right? But your
but
probability is that much lower because the COIs are consistently that much lower because there's not been a lot of line breedings because the breed hasn't been around very long. So your homozygosity hasn't had a chance to really build up into
right,
throwing its own traits and stuff like that yet.
yeah,
And that doesn't mean you can't get a dog that maybe a Sheik 2.0 or whatever. It just means
right,
that, like I said, in genetics, you deal in probabilities. We're all trying to increase our odds with probabilities when it comes to them. They haven't been around that long, so it's hard to say definitively that you breed to this dog and you will get this or that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Well,
Well, if you're
so
gonna sit there and talk about like dogs that probably you want to keep reproducing, it's Klaus over Sheik every day.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
so here's the thing. The name change and the separation has been in the works for at least 2 years. Since Beatrice came up here herself,
Yeah.
I think that was 2023 or so. And that was really even before Samba made the ship popping.
You're right.
There was already some rumblings of like, okay, well, let's let them in, but nothing that has F1 on the pedigree. Which I don't know if you've ever seen any of the IBC dogs pedigrees, but if anything has the Bulldog New Iron Sauce or the other dog down there, I can't remember his name, but if any of them have the Bulldog Sauce in the first generation, they say F1. And so at first they were like, well, we'll let in some of them, but nothing that says F1 on its paper. We can't do
Right.
that. And then I think things backslid a little bit, and they kind of leaned off of it and let some F1s in. And then it blew up so quickly, they were like, okay, we have to put a kibosh on the whole thing. Like we have to stop and
I agree.
separate this now before it changes everything. I think that a lot of those dogs are producing almost solely off of what's called hybrid vigor, which is when totally different genomes work together to create a better result.
When you do an outcross breeding, and the result of that outcross is better than mom and dad, that's an easy way to describe hybrid vigor.
Yeah. So I think a lot of those dogs rely on that. And just like an example of what I mean is like when you have the mass and the head shape come through the American Bulldog that's in the pedigree, and you have the raw muscle conditioning and rear end come through the more terrier side of the pedigree, and those two, the offspring get all of those traits combined in one, that is a phenomenal specimen. But then, like you said, because the COI isn't there and because it is a bit of a fluke, maintaining that becomes difficult if you're not breeding to dogs that also exhibit similar type. And there's not too many XL American bullies that do that don't have a Brazilian pedigree in the way that those dogs work. Like there aren't too many XL females that have ridiculous head shape and raw muscle.
Right.
And so your chances of getting that repeatedly as you work the blood back into our stuff go down every time. That's not to say that you're not going to get one or two dogs that hold on to it if you're lucky, but it could very well go the other way, and you could pull all of Sheik's mom's terrier side out of his pedigree, or his dad, rather. I think is the one that has some terrier blood. But you could pull all of that back out if you take it to a female that's too terrier. So I do think people are going to go backwards with some of that stuff if they're not prepared to do it the right way.
100%.
I used Klaus, and Klaus doesn't have, according to his pedigree, and again, that's I don't know, but according to his pedigree, he doesn't have any New Iron or Playboy or the other dog up front or in his pedigree at all. He doesn't have any Bearzilla. He doesn't have any of the question marks coming out of the IPC. If you read his pedigree, it's mostly old red bloods mixed with some Gaudy line stuff. And you can see some of that in him. Like, he's supposedly 3 times cash pot. And you can see some cash pot a little bit, and even like a little bit of a monster, West Side Monster look to Klaus.
Mm-hmm.
But even with that being said, that stuff was so scattered, and there's so much influence from different kinds of dogs in his pedigree that when I bred him to a traditional American Bully female, we got 2 good dogs out of 6.
Okay.
We got 2 dogs that look like Klaus, 1 dog that looked like mom, and the other 3 were worse than the mother. So, and that's with a dog that doesn't have all of the known sauce up front.
So,
Adam
what do
said,
you mean by that? Yeah.
well, so there are a lot of Camelot dogs that were down there. And I cannot remember. There's a lot of Camelot blood down there. There's a lot of Red Lion blood down there. There's a lot of steroid, be it shark steroid. And Bearzilla specifically has a lot of Camelot behind him.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. But now.
So
Okay,
be it shark, Red Lion, Camelot, I'm sure that there is some Chevy blood down there as well. I don't, I've never seen it in a pedigree, but that dog was worldwide, and there, for what it's worth, there are some GK dogs that made their way down there about 10 years ago or so. Alan Salza, XLBU, the guy that had Dexter, he moved to Brazil and got a bunch of dogs stolen. And that guy had a lot of heavy GK Mac 10 stuff way back when. So, I don't know if any of that stuff made its way into the pit monster circles or not, but I can't see the reason why the dogs would get stolen if they weren't going to be used.
Right. Oh no, absolutely. That's so sad. Yeah, 'cause I mean, I love Mac 10, and it's one of those things that you would want to be able to claim that. You'd want to be able to put that in the pedigree for sure.
Yeah. So there were also, before the embargo and it became hard to get American dogs down there for a few years, there were a lot of pocket dogs that were sent down there and bred to tall pit bull style females. Like a lot of the stuff behind Klaus, you look at the breedings, if you start digging 4 and 5 generations back behind his mom's side, and you're like, what the fuck? They bred like a cash pot son to like a 26-inch tall long-haired mutt of some sort, and you're like, what the hell is this? But obviously through time they got back to clout, so they weren't doing too bad.
Yeah.
Lord. Yeah, I haven't looked too far into, and obviously that far enough into Klaus's pedigree for that. Yeah, and then Sean is that here lies the issue. They created the dogs from XL stock, and yet they said that they don't have Mastiff in their dogs, yet they use Viet Shark blood along with other dogs that had the sauce already. So, I mean, is it safe to say that, different Mastiffs were used to garner the size?
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
it's just a different concentration and type of Mastiff. I mean, even an American Bulldog, granted it's 100 years ago, but even an American Bulldog has Mastiff in it for the size.
Mhm.
I'm going to set my phone down so I can take a
There's even two types of
urination
those.
break.
Like they've even gotten to the point where they split the American Bulldog into two different types because of stuff like that. So you got one that has a little bit more bully features, and then one that like it's a little bit more terrier-like almost. So it's like, but yeah, it's definitely one of those things that like the further back you go, and Tank can talk about this for days about nefarious breeding practices where they kind of tossed in F1 breedings and then tried to hide it to get features that you can't get through just selective breeding, which anybody that thinks that
Yeah.
this breed was created by selective breeding alone.
Well, and it's kind of like the division between some of, like some other breeds, like for instance, the Borbal and the Easterberg Mastiff out of South Africa. All Borbals are Easterbergs, but not all Easterbergs are Borbals. And that goes back to what a Borbal was kind of created out of the idea. I may have that backwards, but one of those breeds predates the other. And they were purpose-bred dogs that had paper-written pedigrees and intent, and everything was bred in a way to work and create these dogs that did a specific type of work. And as they got more popular, one diverged from the other and adopted a new standard that didn't accept certain colors and didn't accept a certain height or wanted a broader structure, heavier bone, or whatever the case may be. So even though they come from an original breed and they're both technically out of that breed, they diverged in their standard. And it's kind of the same thing with like what's happened with the Amstaff and the Pit Bull here.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily that strange. I think a lot of people make it weirder than it's got to be, but like this is the same thing that happened with the UKC and the Amstaff, was a single genetic specimen, but in the case of the Amstaff and the Pit Bull, they diverged because of purpose and not because of phenotype. If that makes sense.
No, that does. That does.
That's one reason why the whole American Bullies or Amstaffs to Pit Bulls thing never made sense. It's like, really, those are the same breed of dog.
So, yeah, essentially, if you look at it, it's literally, yeah, if you look at it on paper, yeah. I mean, hell, when I was up in Boise, that, like, my dogs were Amstaff Pit Bull, like, they were mixes, and it could be. They were duly registered as such, and that's what we did. And yet, to look back on that and be like, did those dogs turn into American Bullies? No, there's no way you could do that without infusing something else. Like, there's just no way. I mean, they were big, yes, but they weren't shaped like that, and there's certain aspects of the head shape that don't come naturally from Pit Bulls or Amstaffs. So it just doesn't make
100%.
sense unless you add something else.
Yeah. So, Aaron, let me ask you this question: Brazilian Bulls and American XL Bullies. What is the difference? What is the difference between the bloods that behind it?
That's where it gets really complicated, because as far as I know, the ABKC has not yet released a standard or developed a standard for the Brazilian Bull.
Bulls.
As of now, they're going on the Brazilian Bull. The Brazilian Bull already had their own standard in their own registry.
But what is ABKC's to that? Because they're
I
registering
think
them.
they're
Did they
as of now
communicate?
they're piggybacking off of the pre-existing breed standard for the Brazilian Bull in Brazil.
Well, no,
Okay, so
that's
let
pretty
me ask
common. I
you
mean, that's
this.
what the AKC does, is they take the breed standard for any breed that they officially acknowledge. They take the breed standard directly from the breed club.
The
And then
difference,
Right.
yeah.
the
But let me
difference.
ask you this: if I go and I take one of my XL females today,
Mhm.
and I breed her to the craziest American Bulldog that I can find, can I single register those dogs as Brazilian Bulls?
What's the deal? I hope not.
Well,
Good question.
here's the
I don't know
thing.
the answer. I don't believe so,
You,
but
you can't
that's
because Bougie Boy
ultimately
just did it.
what's that?
So
Because you
technically,
can't. Because
you can't technically, but you're putting together some of the things that made the Brazilian bull to begin with. So you're doing the
well, but a
same
lot of
thing, but if you lied about it, you could possibly pull it off
if you
because
lied about it, you could pull it off.
the
Um,
genetic makeup is close.
well,
It's similar
and
enough, yeah.
a lot of those Brazilian dogs are F1s, and they say it on their paper. A lot of them
Yeah.
have New Iron as their daddy. So, like, that's what I'm saying is why can't I do it if they can do it and they can register it as that? But kind of getting away from that like side of it, they don't have a standard yet. So I feel like the division was a little bit premature. Um, just in the way that they weren't entirely prepared for it.
Yeah.
And as far as the differences, like the Brazilian dogs, definitely from what I've seen, a majority of them that are Brazilian bulls and aren't just XL American bullies from Brazil, because there are those too. But
Yes.
like the majority of them have really overdone masseters. They've got really profound cheeks and cheekbones, and crazy top skulls. And they tend to be more upright through the shoulder and have a longer upper arm as well.
Mhm.
Not all of them, but a lot of them do, like Sheik.
Yeah.
And they are structured differently. A lot of them seem to be taller and still maintain a bully look.
Yeah.
Yeah. The compact. Yeah.
Um,
So that's we went all the way down this rabbit hole, man. The thing with that is it's the mastiff influence that hurt our breed the most when it comes
yeah,
to the bully breed type.
I
And
agree with that.
that's where we went wrong and they went right. When they built their version of an American bully, they learned from our mistakes because they watched us do it for 20 years before they started it. And they said, yeah, the Mastiff is the problem with the American bully breed type. And so they bred a dog with the same process without the Mastiff. They went to an American bulldog and left the Mastiff out.
Well,
That's
so
where they
Sean,
got the blockier build, the bullier build.
yeah,
They,
and so Sean kind of this that circles back to kind of what Sean said about they deny Mastiff is in their start, but it's in there from the start. And that's the thing is they didn't double down on it. They didn't continue using Mastiff
Correct.
influenced
Right.
dogs. Like yes, some of those red dogs, the Viet Shark stuff, and some of the big Chevy stuff is Mastiff influence. But
Mhm.
they were smart enough to get it one time for the size and then go away from it as far as they could.
that's
What
right.
kept
Right.
them the height? What kept them the height then? How did they keep this height that's
They
over the
that's
XL American Bully height?
That's what he just said. They brought it in with some of these dogs, these red line and these other dogs, and once they had the height, that's the only part of it they kept to keep it.
Well, like Sheik, for instance, has tall dogs all the way across his pedigree in the way that, like, his mom is out of New Iron, bred to some more traditional bully stuff, but his mom is one of the tallest dogs in her litter. And then his dad, Bombastic, is out of King Wonka, which is a Wonka son.
Mhm.
And Wonka brings a tremendous amount of leg as well, 25, 26 inches tall or so. And so they kind of kept the legs on some of those dogs that way. And you can see the people who didn't try to keep the legs. There are people out there who have, like Big John, for instance, 19, 20, 21 inch tall dogs that are way more bulldog than they are anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when you're trying to keep a specific trait like that, it's a lot easier to focus on that specific trait regardless of breed mix.
Yeah.
If you're constantly trying to be vigilant for that trait. If long legs are what you're after, you can continue to keep the tallest dogs in the litter and get long legs. I think because they knew without a shadow of a doubt their stuff was going to be because of new iron and 2 times new iron and 3 times new iron up front, people like Lucas had the intention of keeping the biggest dog or the tallest dog because they knew the features were going to be there regardless.
Adam said something great here that's got a few layers to it. He said NN versus NI versus II. He's talking about the IGF-1 on the embark, which has to do with the body type, which is the size. And so what they did was when they mixed some of those bloods, they brought in some range in the IGF-1, and having that range in there allowed them to breed into the height and out of the height when they wanted to.
Right.
Sean,
So they didn't paint themselves in a corner. They were able to. They bred in for the height, and then they took the IIs and the NIs and bred back down a little bit, and it still kept put the NIs in there to keep the range. And then when they got too short, they had the breed type of the Brazilian bull, but they had some NNs in there, so they brought it back up to NI and stuff. So they were able to play
yeah,
with
but
that range.
then people down there are not embarking. I promise you that.
Not as a
Most of
whole,
them.
not as a whole, but
Yeah.
that's how. And here's the thing: even if they're not embarking, that's still how it works. That's still what
Right.
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're picking off of leg
They
length
they
and
had a
body size
dog.
that
They
they
said
think.
this dog will throw puppies bigger than itself. Well, that dog is an NI or an NN. And then they took a dog that was an NN throwing big dogs and bred to a dog that's known to throw dogs smaller and bring down the size. But they didn't know maybe what they were doing. But the technical side of it is the IGF-1, and that's what happened.
Sean, what you're saying again? That wasn't the point about continuing. That not was ever in there at all. I've never heard anybody down there explicitly deny Mastiff influence. What they deny is that there is a Mastiff dog that can be found anywhere in the IBC pedigree database. And that's the whole thing, is just like the ABKC is piggybacking their standard, they are piggybacking the pedigrees of the dogs that are included in their gene pool. And so if you have a dog with ABKC papers, it's Viet Shark blood that has some Mastiff in him 2 generations or 3 generations back, that dog is still registered as an American Bully. They didn't have a Mastiff come into the gene pool. They had Mastiff traits come into the gene pool. And so for them, it's plausible deniability. It's not, I don't think I've ever heard Beatrice or Samba, either one, say there's no Mastiff at all. It's just that the Mastiff is kept at a minimum, and the dogs that are included, albeit Mastiff influenced, are not that. You know, they
Yeah.
are
So Sean,
ADBA
it's
working
essentially
pit
saying
bull bulls.
it's lying by omission, Sean, is
Yeah,
basically the
yeah.
premise one. They're lying by omission. It's not that they're like outright, there's no Mastiff. They're just like, next subject, please. Like they're not, it's in, we're not stupid. No one's that dumb. But at the same time, they're not going to outright admit it. They're just going to omit the fact that they know it's in there. So it's lying by omission, Sean.
Well, but it's no different than the ABKC. We're not, our breed standard doesn't reflect anything about Mastiff, and there's
Correct.
not a Mastiff one that says Neapolitan
Same with the
Mastiff
Bulldogs,
or a
the old
breeding that says F1 off of
line.
Neapolitan Mastiff, and like they're there, but
Mhm. Yeah, Dax
that's
doesn't look like Dax
ridiculous.
because Dax is just Dax. Like there's something else in there. It's just a matter of like you're not gonna outright say it, but it's by way of omission. He's different because he's different. Like
Well,
something different.
He's different
But
because $35 made Dave say so.
Adam, I don't know what Adam's talking about. I guess I tried to go back and look at his comments. He said nobody's paying attention. Amanda, can you keep up with what he's talking about?
no, it wasn't my turn to watch him today. love you, Adam. I
Shots
literally,
fired, Adam.
I was looking at that comment like, what is he talking about? What do you mean no one's paying attention? What to what? To what? What are we not
Yeah,
paying
I tried
attention
to
to,
go
Adam?
back and look to try to figure out what it was,
It
but
was Bruce's day. It was Bruce's day to watch Adam.
well,
Was
Bruce,
it Bruce? And then he doesn't show up.
Bruce,
Then he doesn't show up. It's like,
get your
whatever.
kids out of the street, Bruce.
Yeah, but then again, he keeps saying like he said people don't listen, and then a couple of comments later, and then all of a sudden ain't nobody paying attention. Like to what?
Man, I was really hoping Bruce was going to be on here tonight. I wanted to flip it and reverse it and interview him.
Aaron looks
did
like
you
he
now?
is the mask on the wall. Like he literally looks like he's wearing a mask right now. And that is him that we're talking to.
Yeah.
I'm talking to.
Well, now we
Talking
are
to-
trying to gauge whether or not he flossed. So I don't know what evil you want.
You'll like the
Amanda,
Warlord.
you hush. Yes, I do.
He wants to die. He wants to die.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry Amanda talked so much. And Bruce said he's sorry, bro.
And I'm sorry I'm here and Bruce isn't. I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, I
What we meant.
No, he was saying he wish Amanda wasn't here and it was the fellas. Like that's
Exactly.
not what he was saying.
100%. He
Like,
wished this was an
there you
absolute
go.
sausage fest and I wasn't here. And that's
Bruce
fine
is-
too.
Bruce
That's
isn't
fine
on
too.
here, but he's
I
in
kind of
here.
No,
Right.
that was nothing against any of you guys. I really
know,
like
I'm
what
just-
Bruce does,
I'm
Oh, I
and I've
know.
never really got a chance to chop it up with him. So
I'm joking with you, man. He's on here
Oh,
though. He's
yeah.
listening.
oh, I was being serious though.
He was absolutely being serious.
He said, "Look, I'm not playing this shit. I'm out of here."
Yeah, he's like, that's it. That's the last straw. I'm gone.
That motherfucker talked too goddamn much tonight. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Hey, this
I don't
dude
like
is
this. It's not
literally
even-
he is a book of knowledge. Like what he's talked about tonight with
Oh, yeah.
all these different things. Like all the like Adam, great questions tonight. Seriously, like with
Very
the plasma, with the like everything that you were talking about earlier. Like very, very, very good questions. So I enjoyed Adam. I loved you tonight. Like Amanda might not have, but you're good with me.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
punch him in the face.
Michael, is he good with you?
And even though Bruce is my uncle, you know what I mean? Like, I'm glad to be here, man. I really enjoyed it. And I thought he was a knowledgeable guy. He's got some knowledge about some topics that I think a lot of other people don't, and so it was great to have him on here to spread some of that around where people can do their research. It's cool, man, when things are brought up that get people's wheels turning, and then they want to go look into it and like, oh, I didn't
The
even know they
cloning
were
of
doing
it,
that,
man.
and that's what I love about the platform. That's what I love about getting guests on here and looking at all these different people's takes on different things. It's gets the wheels turning.
Well, and I love the fact that after he was talking, especially about the Parvo conversation, like
Yeah.
he was just like, whatever you guys need. He's like, I'm an open book. He's like, if you guys need, I had this written down, I have this information recorded and logged. It's just like, just get with me. Like if something like this happens to you, reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you, work your way through it. And that man, that's something that this community can lack sometimes. And I mean, in and of itself, that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
You know?
And Amanda, he literally said at the end of it, not to cut you off, but to cut you off. He literally said at the end of it, if Bruce was on here instead of you, he would still be talking right now.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. I mean,
He would
I have
still be
several
talking.
catchphrases, Adam. I have no idea what you mean by say the catchphrase because I have a few, and I have a few choice words for Caleb as well. But I'm also going to refrain from that.
Michael, am I wrong? Am I wrong, Michael? Because if Bruce was still on here, we would still be going strong.
His phone could have died. His Wi-Fi signal could be worse than yours. Which how that's possible, I never understand. But
My internet has been good for a year, and y'all will never ever overlook that.
no, never.
Oh, Michael, I've enjoyed you thoroughly.
What is Sean talking about right here?
Hey, Sean is a cool ass dude. I talked to him for like
Oh,
three and a
yeah.
half
I
hours
love
the other
having
night.
Sean in the comments.
Hush, hush, Amanda. Like this is my time to
I'm
talk.
glad to tell you.
I talked to him for like 3.5 hours the other night. And you want to talk about some good
You
dog
know
talk where you can
that little section above your
hush.
face that says remove is being real tempting right now. Like it's calling my name. I hear it.
I wish I had that on you because I would have hit that. I would have hit that a long time ago, and he would
What
still
does
be on
Sean say?
if I would have hit that.
Does omission constitute as ethical? Which is what they pride themselves on? Do you see that comment?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So in all reality, Sean, the thing is
Levi,
that no, it's not necessarily ethical to lie by
come on.
omission, but at the same time, you also have to consider where the breed is right now, and if it would still be there if everybody had literally been incredibly forthcoming and the dogs that have created even better dogs couldn't be used anymore because they decided not to omit. They're like, yes, this dog has a smidge of this or a splash of that. And they're like, well, can't breed him then, can't register that. How many good dogs would be have ultimately been missed out upon and not been able to be put into the into the bloodlines that you know so does it is it ethical? No. Does it sometimes work? Yes. So I don't know. It's a very murky area. Very
It is.
murky.
It is, and especially when, at some point, all of our dogs were built from multiple breeds,
Yeah.
and so when is it so far in that you say like, okay, the breeds that built this dog can no longer be added to this dog? I mean, the books aren't closed. So it's
I,
kind of like, and we talked to Dave about that on here, why the books aren't closed,
good.
and there's a good reason for it. But the gate is still. Look at that face. The gate is still open. So it's hard to say what's ethical and what isn't, man. There's a lot of blurry lines there. I think I think they built something from scratch, and once they got a little traction, then they started trying to clean up where they were going to stop and start at and all that. And I think they did a pretty good job up to now. It's just like anything else, man. You get to digging deep enough, you're going to find some blurred lines. But I think what's important is the end result is headed in the right direction, from our breed to theirs and everything
Mhm.
else. And so
I love they separated them. I love they separated them, and I
I
love
just
how
do.
they're implementing it.
I
I think
do too.
Dave, I tip my hat to you on what you did. Like
Mhm.
you saw the influx of it, you saw what it's going to do for our XL community, and you divided it to make sure it's brought in correctly. Once you saw how well it was going to be in instrumented, so
Yeah,
very very good job on that. Honestly,
yeah.
like I don't think
We
he could have
talked.
handled it any better.
No, I don't either. We talked about it when it was still in motion, and even Raul was saying, he's like, we agreed that if it turns into one breed, it'll be good for the American Bully because it will add to breed type because they have some things we're trying to incorporate.
Yeah.
But but and if they do, what are you going to do? You're going to ride with it. There's no other choice. But the dog should have its own class and
Yeah.
be its own breed, and I'm glad that's the way it turned out.
Yeah. Well, I've enjoyed everyone tonight. Besides Amanda, I've enjoyed everybody. Thank you for the interaction in the comments. Michael, you're one beautiful human being. Love you, brother. Amanda, I wish I could say the same, but I will see you next Tuesday.
Well, I love you both, and it's good to see everybody. I enjoyed our guest tonight. Enjoyed being on the show, man. Look forward to the next time, as always.
All right. See
Absolutely.
y'all.
Let me
And
look at
I
that
think we're
dog real quick before
going to
you.
miss this later. Sorry that we lost you, but yeah, we'll have to do this again sometime again. You've so much to share
L-
with the community, and you've shared quite a bit
Look at
this
this.
evening, and I know you have more, so we definitely want
Look
to
at
have
this
you back
head,
on.
man.
That's your baby right there, ain't it?
Well, sure. This is Nakai's baby. Like Kiki was in here earlier.
Yeah, I know
That's my
that's your.
baby.
I know that's your baby.
Yeah, but Levi, she's chilling.
Yeah,
Amanda, Michael, love you, man.
man. That was
Peace.
that was a salute towards you and then towards Caleb. I enjoyed
Well,
y'all as
All right.
always.
I love you to death, Michael. That guy maybe not so much, but we'll hash that out later.
Bye.
Good
I'm
night.
putting this up on the YouTube, guys.
Yeah, we can say what we want about him now. He's gone. No. All right.
Mm.
Later, y'all.
Bye, guys.